Okay.
Because if remember when we won the league on goal difference.
You cannot put us under one umbrella. You cannot put us under one umbrella. We do not support that tweet.
If
you cannot put us under one umbrella.
No. Let them. If it's about goal difference,
if we beat them tomorrow.
Welcome, football stalkers. It is another preview show, Chiefs versus Mamelodi Sundowns. I have got a full of it. Wait, give up Thabiso. Look, I'll do this. Ne? I'll talk about one side, the Chiefs, the home side. Thabiso, Lady Q, Alex, Mish from Amakosi for Life. And then from the Sundowns side, I've got Sedi, I've got Mure, and I've got Mpedulo, and I have got Tlhologelo. Look, my rules are simple, guys. No biting, no scratching. But apart from that, anything goes. Anything goes.
No vulgar though. No vulgar.
No. Of course.
No, we don't. No, we don't swear chips. No, we don't.
So,
no, we are the lovely peace, guys. There's no such thing in Kaizer Chiefs.
I wanted to ask a question. How much did you pay this guy to come and pretend to be Sundowns fans here? Because Sundowns don't have
Venta. So true.
I changed my background, guys. You guys are complaining about my
background. Really?
Definitely not necessary.
Are you giving me it wasn't necessary. You didn't have to.
The gloves are off.
This one's better.
No, this one is worse. This one is worse.
Better.
This one is worse.
Just to remind you what the score was last time. What the score was last time. Just tell us.
You know what?
Just remind us what the score was last time.
You can show us that 2-0. But what I like is the fact that a child who was not born the last time you lifted the trophy is going to preschool now.
Good one, Murendeni.
Also, since Chiefs fans are here, right? I'd like Chiefs fans to explain to us what is the mathematics.
What was the preview?
Please explain to me
what is the list of the preview. Why are we talking about trophies now? Where is the list of the preview?
I know I said
no. Just hear people, just hear Sundowns fans screaming. There were questions here today, but I hear Sundowns fans.
Yes, trophies too close to home.
Let's get it.
Why are we talking about trophies now?
That's too close to home.
Because it's a third topic,
isn't it? The preview now, the preview of the game of Sundowns and Kaizer Chiefs that is coming on the 4th. What is happening with this child that is not
What do children have to do with the game?
What does children have to do with the preview of the game? What does children? What does our poor kids have to do with the preview of the game? Come on, guys.
I am saying if you don't win on Thursday, the child is gonna go to grade R before you leave another one.
Wait. Mathematically, you don't win the league. If Sundowns win on Thursday, it doesn't mean you won the league. You just have the same points. There's still 3 more games to play after.
Okay.
Yeah,
the questions are
going to show you guys hands anyway.
What does his season tell us? What does only won yesterday? And the game of yesterday, somebody was given the brown envelope. So please,
guys, conspiracy.
You only
tomorrow you will be tomorrow on Thursday you will be saying Mpedulo was given the brown envelope. On Thursday it will be Mpedulo himself.
No, tomorrow they are going to say on Thursday they are going to say Akpay was right.
It's that obvious.
They will complain about the gunman at Orlando Stadium, everything.
Okay, look.
How many Sundowns fans? Before we start, how many Sundowns fans are here?
It's 4 against 4.
It's 4.
Just
okay. So means That means there are 46 other Sundowns. There are 46 other Sundowns fans not here.
It's not a popularity contest. It's not a popularity contest.
Look,
weak
We'll talk about trophies.
Before
league titles.
Before we can continue with the banter, guys, I'm gonna
4
ask
of the
a question.
50.
You guys
4
know
of the
this.
50 fans.
Thursday's game, where will it be won? And Alex, you start, my brother. Where do you think the game will be won on Thursday?
I think the game will be won from the defenders' mistakes. So one mistake, the goal is gone. So if you make a mistake and then the other team is gone.
Tlhologelo?
I think skill is what's gonna win us this game, you know. And I think especially because Castro and Nurkovic are not gonna be there. I think where it's gonna be one is that Sirino Zwane play. That's where I see us winning.
Mpedulo?
I think we're gonna win the match on how we play, because we also know that Chiefs doesn't play football, so we're gonna win the match on our play. Chiefs doesn't play football; they play your helicopter football. So we're gonna create chances by playing one. There's Zwane, there's Sirino. I'm sure maybe Villagas will also start, or my boy will start on Thursday. So we're gonna beat them on the field.
Mish?
I just wanna ask sorry, my man who last spoke. Does football also count slapping in the face like Sirino?
Oh.
Is that also football? Is that also football? Anyway, but yeah, we're gonna win. I think it's gonna be a very tight game. It's gonna be one in midfield. So the team with the tighter, better, stronger midfield is going to boss the game. I think what Chiefs is gonna do, I'll be honest, we're gonna have to play a more physical game because I fear that we're not gonna be at our strongest. We don't have Nukovic, we don't have Castro. So we're gonna have to be a little more physical with Sundowns because Sundowns are a technically more gifted team. I will give you that, and skilled team. So we have to bring a different approach, and we have to be more physical. So physically, I think that's where the game will be won. I think in the midfield, Katsande will have to bring
it's the inner man of steel.
He's gonna do the things.
Lady Q?
Look, I think it's gonna be the determination of the boys, hey? So it's a good thing that Nukovic and Castro are not gonna be there. That will confuse the Sundowns players. I think the boys gonna come out strong because they want to prove their point as well. So I think we're gonna have to win the game from the determination of the players. On our side, more especially the strikers. We don't have a strong midfield, but yeah, I think the determination is all that's gonna win us.
Sedi?
I think the game is gonna be won in the middle. For as long as we keep that ball on the ground, we shouldn't give them a chance to play that helicopter nonsense they call football. I think Jalian Kutia will be helping us to sort of push the balls forward. And if we can infiltrate that and get Katsande to just fumble the way he's been fumbling his Instagram posts, then I think, yeah, we're going to win it
ask?
from the middle.
Can I ask?
For me,
Sorry, Murad. Let's hear what Alex wants to ask.
Okay, so Sundowns fans are talking about playing football. Have they seen the pitch in Orlando?
Yes, we have.
Orlando's our daily bread, Joe. That's home for us.
Okay, against Paris, they're not against Chiefs.
What do you think the game
is going to be home for us?
We beat Vets at that same Orlando with that pitch.
Yeah, 3-2.
But did you see how you guys played against Leeds in that game?
Can I say something, ma?
Yeah, but we have
It wasn't the best.
gotten our momentum back. But now we are getting back to our normal play. So you guys should actually be scared.
Can I say something? Like,
Okay.
Normal place was yesterday your normal place.
Before we start free-flowing, let Mure tell us where he thinks the game will be won.
Okay. So for me, the game will be won in 3 places. First of all, in the mind of the coaches. Right now, this battle started in the Shell Helix Cup and it's gonna continue. Middendorf feels like Pizzo disrespected him when he called him the luckiest coach and stuff. So he needs to prove a point. So that's the first place where the game will be won, in the mind of the coaches. The coach who will go with what is best for him and not be influenced by the side talks and the shit housery that is happening before the game. And the second place and the second place will be in the middle of the park. You see, the thing about this game is that now every time Kaizer Chiefs beat us, like the first game at Loftus, they were bypassing the midfield because they had 2 twin towers, which were their point of references, where they will pump in the first balls, and those guys will win the first balls, and sometimes they will try to make Karma and then play off the second ball. But now they don't have that option. So if they don't have that option, if they're going to pump the ball to Karma does not have the height. They've got no one who will win the first ball. So they will have to play it in the midfield. And in the midfield, the creative players are Ngobo and maybe Nchanga's, who has not been playing. But knowing Ernst Middendorf, you won't go with the creative players. You'll go with Katzande, who cannot pass the ball, who will just win it and do nothing with it. But the other thing is that there's very same Katzande is on a yellow. So if I were Pizza, I will instruct my boys to go for him, early on. So yeah, but yeah, I think that's where the game will be won, on the bench and in the midfield. As long as the coaches go with what works for them, then there's no issue. But it's gonna be a game of fine margins.
Thabiso?
all right. So before I address you guys, we just need to confirm that Sundowns also plays helicopter football, but they have Aina Petrol. So most of the times it falls down. And secondly, this, when it comes to Chiefs, they think they already know our strategy because we're playing, long footballs. But Middendorf is always full of surprises, He has his own issues, but he's always full of surprises. We have Lesako, who's already been at training, and that boy has been called in to fill the position of Maluleka. So, that Thursday, we'll be playing ball. If ball is about the pants, it's about when it's good ball. This thing of Sundowns is ball like Borakulu Kuku Kekana cannot chase the ball. So we're gonna win this one simple. So it's gonna beat down. There's Billet, there's Kambole. They're gonna finish them, and they're gonna log out.
Yes. Yes.
You said Billet. Which Billet?
We've got a new member that
the full teamers are right.
Same Billet you wanted at the beginning of the season.
They also know
the full teamers are right.
Tell us.
Okay.
What do you think the game will be won on Thursday?
It will be one in the midfield. Simple as that. If we can be able to boss the midfield and destabilize the Sundowns midfield, then we'll be able to win the game. The rest will be history. But also, it's also going to boil down now, how do you plan for the game at hand? Because both teams are under pressure. Both teams are actually desperate for maximum points. I don't think any of the teams are going to settle for a draw. So Thursday, it's a big battle, and we're going to go all out. So it's all about who's the hungriest, but also who's the cleverest as well. Who is the cleverest? And rightfully, what Thabiso said, Middendorf is just full of surprises. He's just so unpredictable. Yes, the one thing that's very predictable about us these days is that the way we play football, we always play the ball in the air. But however, when it comes to formations, he just would chop and change our formations like you cannot believe, just to confuse the opponent. So Sundowns won't be any different. I mean, if you have a look at the last fixture in which we played against them in Loftus, he played with 3 defenders, and this is just similar to what he actually played on Sunday. But knowing Middendorp, he's just going to change strategy, that's for sure. But look, if Chiefs can be able to play the ball just through the middle instead of rely too much on wing play, then we'll be able to destabilize Sundowns as well. Because look, Nascimento is not there because he's suspended, and that is an advantage for us. Kambole has a capability of troubling the opposition defense. I don't think any of the Sundowns guys can be able to catch him. It will actually force the whole team to actually go get bodies behind the ball in order to catch him, and that would actually set other players like Billiata and them free. And then just the minimization of aerial balls will just do us good. And that is how I see it. But I say the main component is the midfield. If you win the battle in the midfield, you'll win the game.
All right. Well, speaking about midfield, and I can notice in most of you guys that you pointed out, who makes the better subs between Pito and Middendorp? Everybody's quiet.
Okay. Let me go for it. Let me go for it. I think, yeah, in terms of who makes the better sub, it's a difficult one because Pito is a bit of a stubborn coach. Pito has got this thing where when Pito makes the subs on time, Pito makes the better subs, but Pito does not make, his timing is usually off. Middendorp, on the other hand, is that Middendorp is a confused coach, you know. So and he doesn't have faith. It shows that he doesn't have faith. If he tries something and it doesn't work out, he immediately changes it. But that's not because he's a better coach. It's because he's a confused coach and he doesn't have faith in his players. So when he doesn't have faith, he just throws the dice, and then if it doesn't come the way he wants, no strategy, he just changes. But with Pito delays his subs because he believes in his players. Sometimes it's a blessing and a curse for Pito because sometimes he will stick to it and then it works. Sometimes he sticks to it and it doesn't work. But with Middendorp, if something is not working, because there's no faith, he just says get out and then he tries something else. And that can also be a blessing and a curse. But in this situation where points are needed, I think Middendorp will edge Pito because he reacts quickly. But his reaction is not usually based on being smarter, being the smart of the two.
Mish, anybody can jump in. Who makes the better subs between Pito and?
I don't agree with Murendeni there because, just because, Pito keeps his players on longer because he believes in them, but Middendorp doesn't. I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to say there because obviously Middendorp keeps his players on the pitch because he believes there's something extra they can still put in, maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and obviously you want to see something. Yeah, I'm still not trying to understand what you mean there.
No, what I'm saying is that if Middendorp, for example, starts with Kambole and Kambole is not performing, he will quickly pull him off. But on the other hand, when Pito starts with a player, he starts with a player because he's got faith in him. Even when things are not going according to plan, sometimes he will stick with a player hoping that, towards the end, something will happen. But Middendorp is usually, he panics. So Middendorp sometimes can panic and just make 5 changes. And the other thing with Middendorp is that...
But isn't that what you would do as a coach, though? If you need a goal quickly, is that not something you would do as a coach? You just say you were the coach.
But you need a balance between strategy and panic-driven changes. Some of the changes are strategic, some are panic-driven.
May I step in?
Mm-hmm. Let me jump in on this one. I think when it comes to this one, I will give it to Middendorp when it comes to Pito and Middendorp. Only between them two, not with other matches. I think Middendorp knows how to react to Pito, or when it comes to big matches where he knows he has to win. So for Thursday, I think Middendorp will have an upper hand.
Okay. Tlholo?
You know, I hope I don't get beaten for this, but I'm gonna go with Murendeni, right? And we had this conversation the last live when we were after the Marine. And the problem with Peter is a coach that doesn't want to admit when he's wrong. And that's the weakness of a coach, right? Sometimes we may credit his late substitutions to the fact that he has faith, but then on the other hand, Peter never wants to admit when he's wrong.
Yeah.
We can see, like at 60 minutes, you can analyze the game. You can see 1, 2, 3 players are needed on the field, and Peter will not let them in because he still has that hope. You're see, this thing that I have will work. But sometimes as a coach, you need to accept defeat. Good see, this thing that I have right now isn't working, and for it to change, I need to bring certain people in. Let's take yesterday's game for example, right? Zwanya and Mabui came in pretty early for a Sundowns sub. And we saw the difference that they made. As compared to that other game where people put in Abo Lafong in 92 minutes. What is a player going to do at 92 minutes? So I think Middendorf takes the better side because he has the ability to see as a coach that some things are working and to change it, right? And that, as Sundowns, it confuses us, especially if then the opposition changes formation. Formation gets us off guard completely as Sundowns.
Yes, you're right.
So if a coach sub is one that is gonna change and then also change his formation, then they're catching us off guard and then they're gonna start overpowering us. So I think going into Thursday's game, I give it to Middleton because he's not ashamed to say what I have isn't working. So let me change it.
Lady Q? Lady Q?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I'm gonna say is I like to disagree with the lady there. I think Mpedulo, yes, I think he panics. He panics a lot that his substitutions are always defensive. So I believe Uguti, maybe Peter is better because he does take his time to analyze the game, even though he changes at the very last minutes, but he takes his time to analyze the game and see what could be done. With us, if a player makes a mistake, Mpedulo always put a defense or a midfielder. He will take a midfielder out and put a defense. And I believe he's always being defensive in lots of the games. That's what I think. So I think Upito is better compared to Mpedulo.
Alex.
To Ernest.
Can I go?
Alex,
yeah,
you can go, Sedi.
So I will have to agree with Murendeni and Tlholo. Middendorf makes the subs a lot quicker.
Thank you for saying my name right.
Wait, am I not saying it right? Sorry, Tlholo. Okay, Tlholo.
Tlholo.
So I was saying whether Middendorf makes the subs at the right time. However, the difference between Middendorf, Chiefs and Sundowns is the depth. So we can already expect if a certain player makes a mistake, you're almost 100% sure that Middendorf also against Zuma or Intenti or whoever is there. Whereas with Sundowns, that sub list, there's so much potential. Hence, I'm agreeing with Tlhologelo Hore. Pizzo's problem is that he leaves things a little bit too late. And we spoke about this yesterday as well, that sometimes it's almost as if Pizzo doesn't have a plan B if something is not working. So I will have to concede and say that Middendorf makes the better subs, and those subs 9 times out of 10 actually change the game. If they are trailing or if it's still a deadlock, 0-0, and he gets someone in like Zuma who's going to now bring in more pace and pass the ball a lot forward and stuff, then Chiefs is guaranteed to either get a goal or they're going to end up just winning the game. That's the way I see it in terms of the subs.
Mpedulo?
I kind of agree with Sedi here that Middendorp makes subs earlier, but that doesn't mean his subs are better. He makes his decision. He takes decision quickly than Pito. Pito tends to stick to his original plan way too long. So we stick to his subs, not making his sub early, hoping that his plan will eventually happen, and then we'll make the late subs. So it's hard, So I'll go with that. Middendorf makes better subs,
Hunter?
but yeah.
Can I say something?
It's confusing. It's confusing.
Can I say something?
Before we come to you, Mish, let's go to Hunter and Alex, and then we'll come back to you.
Okay.
It's a bit of a tough one to call, hey, because you gotta look at both sides as to what kind of substitutions they're actually making. Now let us put injuries out of the way. Let us go first to strategies. Who is the most effective in terms of deciding which strategic substitutions is best? Well, it's hard to call. Yes, it's true that Middendorp, he makes the substitutions far more earlier. And it is a given that the first substitution that he's going to make, he's actually going to bring on Zuma. That one is a given. So if you see that Zuma is actually on the bench, you guaranteed he'll be the first person to actually be on the field. However, what about the other substitutions? We are looking at in terms of depth, like Sedi said. You don't have much depth like Sundowns have, right? Sundowns have what we call potential players. Fine. So with Pito in this case, yes, he leaves it to the last minute, but when he makes that substitution, he makes what we call a crucial substitution. Unlike Murendeni, because there are many there are many players that should have been on, but could not have been on thanks to Murendeni. You have a look at the game on Sunday. Sefama was on the bench. Ngobo was on the bench. We needed those players. He didn't put any of them there. That is the problem with Murendeni. In as much as he makes substitutions early, but what kind of substitutions is he making? Taking away the fact that, okay, there's injury force substitutions and all, but I'm talking specifically about strategic substitutions here. Who are the game winners that are going to be put on? So that my point is that Pito, in spite of the fact that he makes the substitutions late, he makes the most crucial one, because 9 out of 10 times, whoever he puts on is the one that actually changes the game or probably wins the game for the team. So my take is that I'm gonna have to give it to Pito here, man. In as much as I don't want to say, but I'm gonna have to give it to Pito simply because the kind of substitutions that he brings onto the field are the game-changing substitutions. Because we want match winners, and Middendorp is not bringing in match winners.
Alex?
Oh, my brother. I think Pito makes the better changes. But the thing is, Pito he makes them late. Middendorp makes them on time, but his substitution mostly are based on defending. We have ball players in the bench. We have like your Ngobo, we have Njangas, but those players will never play when Middendorp is still there. So whoever Middendorp wants is someone who can kick the ball. Obviously, you have your Parker, because I think maybe he takes his instruction very well that you know what, you just need to kick it forward. So all his substitution that he's making is just basically want someone who can kick the ball forward. But in terms of, yeah, we're not happy about it because, you know, that's the banter we're getting every day, helicopter football and so forth. But Pito makes better substitution than, yeah, it's depressing, but yeah, Pito makes better substitution. It's just that the timing. It's not right, guys.
You know what I find funny, ne?
Yeah.
You know what I find funny? Is that we as Sundowns supporters want earlier substitutions and Kaizer Chiefs fans want effective substitutions. So it's
there's no substitution at 97 minutes.
What happens is that, you know, those two can be matched. You take Pito's wisdom and then you take Midandorf's timing, and then you've got an ideal coach.
Say something, Mish.
But I want to add on to what Murendeni was saying. Or was it? I can't remember who it was. Somebody said Pizzo doesn't have a plan B, which was very interesting to hear because that's what Chiefs coaches, Chiefs fans are also saying about Middendorf. There's no plan B. So is that something we can all agree on, that our own coaches, both of us, don't have a plan B?
Middendorf doesn't have a plan B. Pizzo is stubborn.
So he's stubborn equals to no plan B.
The thing with Pizzo is that he doesn't want to appear to have been wrong. You know, so Pizzo has got that thing that, you know what, this thing will work.
So he's a bully.
And he doesn't want to lose. Also. You know, he doesn't want to lose.
My coach is a bully and a sore loser. That's all we can say.
Yeah, he's a sore loser. He's a bully.
He's a terrible loser.
Rather play
and
it safe and draw than risk and lose. That's Pizzo.
Yes.
Rather play it safe and draw than risk and lose.
And he's turned us supporters into sore losers as well.
So
thank you.
I was gonna ask if the rivalry is alive, is well, it's still the same. I mean, from a fan perspective, from a supporter's perspective, I can say from when we started, it's still there. There's no doubt.
It's never gonna.
Is that even a trick question, Ivan? Is that even a trick question? I mean, you brought both sets of fans here, so that should answer your question that the rivalry is alive.
It's alive. It's the greatest it has ever been right now. It's the greatest you'll ever see it right now because of this neck and neck race everyone is talking about.
I have a question though. Is this being recorded? Is this being recorded?
Yes,
it's part of the clip he posted on Twitter. Because I'm tired of Kaizer Chiefs telling us our rivals are super sports. Now when they're admitting that they are their rivals, can it be?
Let me clarify.
They have a shell down. The shell.
Pirates fans are our rivals. Let me clarify. Pirates fans are our rivals. And then Sundowns fans, you know, we just giving you a right because there's nothing. You don't have anyone because
you know what?
Please.
I'm being honest, and you want to call it a rivalry. If I look at Chiefs and Pirates, I think as much as you guys have
to forced himself to make himself a rival with Kaizer Chiefs.
No, but
let's go global.
Thabiso,
and talk about his rivalry.
If we look at the fact that in the Soweto next to each other, Pirates and Chiefs sitting next to each other, but when it comes to Sundowns and Chiefs, you can never be seated the same.
If we take global, we can go to England.
Yes.
Not the same, bro. Really, not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same because
let's use global examples.
Okay.
And then I'll use 2 or 3 countries. Let's go to England, right? If we go to England and then we go to Manchester, I mean there's a crosstown rivals, Manchester United and Manchester City.
But you go to basically the Manchester City of
And then,
Africa.
but if you go, but you know, you can't say that the Manchester City because they're not based in Soweto. But are they based in Soweto? Sundowns?
No, they're not. But we're talking about in terms of the recent.
Okay.
We're talking about global and financial.
Point here
You
is
guys
that-
have gotten this pumping, from
No,
Patrice.
the thing is that
only
But
recently.
Murendeni, you must understand Mish's point of saying we are the Man City because financially
popularity
and also fan base
contest
wise,
to them.
we match more.
you see, for
We
that,
have a star on our
when
crest.
we talk about popularity,
It's not about the
we are
start,
nowhere.
about the rivalry.
We
Stick
are
to the
nowhere
topic.
when we talk about popularity. But when you talk about competitive games, because if you go to Kaizer Chiefs fans and to Orlando Pirates fans, they will tell you that the Soweto Derby is good. It's a popularity contest. It's nice. But in terms of the football and the competition on the field, both sets of supporters will tell you that Sundowns and Kaizer Chiefs or Sundowns and Orlando Pirates is much better. So when we go to a popularity contest, we are nowhere. We'll never win this popularity contest. And, and also because our team is poorly managed, we're not going to get there soon.
Chiefs has
But
better marketing anyway.
Football-wise, yeah.
Yeah, because I would say this. I agree with Mure here in saying, if I look at Sundowns and Chiefs, I would say Liverpool and Manchester United. I would say Barcelona, Real Madrid.
Yes.
It's not a derby. It's a rivalry that
it's a rivalry.
There's a reason why if you go to Loftus, Sundowns is that side, Chiefs is that side. When you go to FMB, Chiefs is that side, Sundowns is that side. But when it's the Soweto derby, it's mixed match. Everybody sitting next to each other, families, they're mixed, and you're like, okay, so it's friendly here. But there, it's intense. That look, nobody wants to lose. Look, as much as I tried to be neutral and everything, I remember when we lost at Loftus. Yeah, my heart, I was angry. I was like, oh my God, we lost this.
I was so pissed.
It's going to happen again on Thursday. Again on Thursday, it's going to happen. Your heart is going to break on Thursday again.
Aye. Nukovic
Not
is
this
not
time.
there.
Not this time, Baba.
Nukovic is not the only player we have.
Not the only player that plays for
We're
Kaizer Chiefs.
getting an offside goal this time.
Since when there was that offside? Come on, man. Let's be true here. It was never offside. Castro did not even touch the ball in that instance. It went past Castro. That was a clear, simple goal. Blame your defense. They were
Helicopter offside. That was a helicopter offside.
That was an offside.
Yeah, the helicopter offside. Okay, fine. The helicopter offside that beat you guys. Thank you. Can we agree?
So,
Don't remind me.
Yeah, you love
Don't remind me of that game. Don't remind me of that game.
Look at Tlhologelo. Look at Tlhologelo. How she's holding
you talk about it, you are hitting me.
wait.
Go there. We're preparing for Thursday.
Not on Thursday. I'm watching you, right?
I'm going to ask you guys to give predictions on what score are we going to find on Thursday. So I'm going to start with Lady Q. Lady Q, what do you think will be the score on Thursday?
I'll go with 2-1 favors Kaizer Chiefs, obviously.
Of course.
Come on, son.
Yes.
Why you quiet?
Next one.
You're scared.
Hey.
You're scared. You're Sama. The very scared. They're so quiet. They're so content.
Fellas, Sundowns has never beaten us. So how many times
Yeah.
has Sundowns beaten us?
No ways. The last time we beat you guys was the 1st of January 2019. Don't come for us. No. We have been beating you guys.
Let's not say
We have been
you guys just beat us
beating
once or twice in the
Guys,
last.
No.
You
Because
guys
you
in
guys
the
were
second.
You guys
liking,
haven't
you guys were liking,
every
and last year with those goals.
Can I go with my prediction?
Let us not do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't come for us like that.
Sedi, give us your
Okay.
prediction and who do you think is going to score?
Okay, Sundowns is going to win 2-1 with an offside goal, and we're gonna benefit from a penalty. And God
Sundowns
willing,
is going to
Victor
win with an
goes.
offside goal. Sundowns is going to
Yeah.
win.
Sundowns is going to lose an offside goal.
Would you rather
We're
win
gonna
barely or
benefit-
win by
We're
an
going
offside goal?
to benefit with a penalty the way Chiefs has benefited 13 points. We're going to
Where we
benefit.
benefited? When have we
And God
benefited?
willing, Victor Gomes is not going to be the referee.
Yeah.
It is going to be the
It's just a buzzword.
In terms of who's
going
gonna
to be the
score,
referee of our game.
Buzzwords, just
in terms
buzzwords.
of who's gonna score, I think Makalo might score. Zwane might score. And maybe Ntate Mogolo Kekana might do something. He might chop
Your own supporters, your own fans.
Tell us your score for Thursday, and who do you think is gonna score?
Who?
Me.
Mpedulo.
No. Oh. I think it's gonna be 1-0. We are winning 1-0 on Thursday, guys. It's gonna be that one chance, and we're gonna score.
Who's going to score? Topo Kekana.
1-0. This boy, Custom Sereno is going to score.
Amen. Mish.
Before he gets a red card.
And who's gonna score?
So yeah, I'll tell you in order of events. So what's gonna happen is I think Sundowns will score 2 goals first, and then Chiefs are gonna have a dramatic comeback and score 3-2. I really believe
Please,
that.
let them go.
Just before we score the winner. Wait, let me finish. Just before we score the third goal, Gaston Sereno is gonna get a red card. Sereno is gonna get a red card. We're gonna somehow we're gonna keep pushing him. We're gonna keep push him, and he's gonna slap someone. So yeah, red card for Sereno again. 3-2.
we're not full of seats.
Predicting a red card. Predicting a red card.
Watch. It's gonna be a physical game. There's gonna be fights, guys. You know? What is Rulani gonna say again? Thuggish behavior, guys. Thuggish behavior.
This is not party.
All right. Firstly, a note to Mish. We are not Polokwane City. I think that my score prediction for Thursday 2-1 favor Sundowns, right? Sereno is either gonna have a goal or an assist, right? And I have to go with Sedi, either a penalty or offside. We are getting one of the two. Penalty or offside, one we are getting. That much
We are benefiting.
on the stars by the gods. So you know, goal assist, and then I think I'll give this.
Who?
Parker.
Mahala.
Okay. Hunter.
Maybe on goal, yes. On goal by Kaizer Chiefs.
By billion. By billion.
From who?
Billion.
Billion.
Who's going to billion?
What did you do in the side?
Penalty, offside,
On goal, guys. Come on, there's no such thing.
I want an on call from Katandi, guys, please.
No way. Very careful.
The goal of Sundowns.
You're just wishing. You know, you see how scared you are from this as you are very scared.
Sundowns.
I'm scared, Mama. Relax.
Are you very
I'm saying is
you should be scared because
the gods of Sundowns are coming for revenge for that own goal. Yasama Horo, that you want
Okay, so let's hear what Hunter says his score before we go to Moren.
Aish, at long last, I saved the best for last. Anyway, firstly, Firstly, yeah, I agree with Mish. There is going to be a red card. It's either going to be Sereno or any other Sundowns player, for as long as he's not a Chiefs player. That's number one. Number two, there will not be any offside goal. Number three, set piece is a goal for Kaizer Chiefs. So, and you know, Sundowns they can't even defend.
That's why you have Castro and Samir.
So, okay, just to get to the point. Okay, just to get.
When you have Castro and Samir. They are both not there, but
yeah, but your Madisha is gonna be there, so that's a free way for us. Thank you very much. For now, you forgot about Madisha, so that's a free way for us. Thank you very much. So final score, for as long as Madisha is there, 3-0 to Kaizer Chiefs, man. 3-0. I don't want you guys to score 3-0. I want 3-0.
Let's hear your prediction.
I don't want to give you guys a goal, bro.
Recognize the Twitter handle so we can fake you.
What's your Twitter handle? What's your Twitter handle? I want to
tell you. We have to fake
you. So the guys that are going to score, which I think that they're going to score, it's Katsande, it's going to be Kambole and Billiard. That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
Hey, this guy.
The 40 months are right. Hey, okay.
We are going to crush that confidence. I want that confidence.
We need to tell them.
Let's give more a chance. Let's
confirm that you acting confident, but you don't mistake for the fun.
No, we can do this.
Wait. Let's do a prediction.
Okay, guys, I'm not going to be emotional about this thing because I'm not going to be emotional about this, and I'll tell you why I'm not going to be emotional. In the times that I've supported Mamelodi Sundowns, I've played a couple of games with against Kaizer Chiefs, and one of three things happened. I play well only to rook missed chances, or I play well and lament bad officiating. But at the end of the day, it usually ends in tears for me when I play against Kaizer Chiefs. So it's not going to be an easy game. You know, if you look.
He's about to make his point and then you want to...
Let's go, Morgan.
So, but one thing that I can tell you, right, is that Thursday is going to end in tears. And I don't want it to be my tears, you know.
You must taste Kaizer Chiefs tears, guys. We must taste Kaizer Chiefs tears.
So I'll tell you now, right, based on a title run in, you know, Sundowns will and based on knowing how to win the PSL in the last 6-7 years, Sundowns has got an edge. But based on, you know, the thing with Kaizer Chiefs is that, you know, they don't have to play beautiful. You know, something just goes wrong and then they beat us. Either, you know, someone will make a stupid foul and then. I mean, I can count the goals that they've scored against us. I remember that goal, yeah, Raman Pashele. They've just been weird. But honestly speaking, I hope we get a smash and grab and we beat them. You know,
that's what I want. 1 minute.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Just a smash and grab.
Nah.
You know, it doesn't have to be pretty. Smash and grab. 1-0.
Forget about your smash and grab. Let's tell your points, my chief.
No,
Chiefs will win this one.
We take the 3 points. We go to our hotel room
smash and grab,
and we start preparing for the last one to seal the title.
So let's hear you. Prediction.
So on Thursday, Sundowns will take the points.
No. Okay, so what's gonna happen is that you're dreaming, my chief. Like first thing first, Madisha, Mpedulo. I know he's gonna give us a goal from him. He's gonna score his own goal. Kambole is gonna score. Ngopo is gonna score. Sifame is gonna score. Like I'm telling you, the score is gonna be 4-1. Sundowns is gonna be very disappointed. and we're not
Yes.
going to play beautiful football, but we're going to
Our
display.
neighbor
That's
comes
the
before
truth.
one.
Yes.
At least I know your Twitter handle.
That's good.
I know your Twitter
Yes.
handle, Natabiso.
Oh,
I know you, Natabiso.
Oh, see.
I know you.
So forward.
Find me, Thabiso
Forward.
Mishak, there, Thabiso
Come
Loko,
on.
you find me. And I'm telling you,
We'll be going to Orlando Stadium for one reason.
Orlando Pirates and Sisters will not allow you to win in Orlando Stadium.
Orlando Pirates, Muti is still working overtime for you guys. So wait.
So you're relying on the
Depends
booty
on
of
Mayweather's
Pirates to
goal.
actually beat us.
He's still going to hurt
Lost
you
in
there.
Orlando, guys. Why are you talking about Orlando Pirates being
Yes,
the
why are you
best
talking
luck
about
for
Pirates?
us? Why?
You do know that
Orlando
Orlando Pirates
Stadium.
supporters would
No,
much
it's away too. It's
would
home.
much rather have Sundowns win the league than you guys because they know they'll never hear the end of it. So technically,
It goes both
So now
ways.
they have
It
drugs
actually goes
companions.
both ways.
So
Even
if
you guys will never hear the end of it.
Pirates Sundowns fans more than they do
In
us.
any
You
case,
know
there's
that.
no
No,
fans,
they
other
actually
fans
hate
that
you guys
love
more.
Kaizer Chiefs. It's only Kaizer Chiefs fans that loves us. We don't need an additional fans to love Kaizer Chiefs. We are
Why
fine
do you
as
need
Kaizer
fans
Chiefs
when you've
supporters
got all the
supporting
coaches?
Kaizer Chiefs.
Like
So
coaches
you
in the
and Pirates can go together as a group. We are fine being by ourselves.
Yeah,
We
but
don't
that's
need
not
you
what
will
we saw
lose
on fan
support
days
us.
prior
It's
to the
very fun
derby,
being
right?
You will lose by
ourselves.
yourself.
Well,
No.
look, I can say this, that in this debate, it is clear that Sundowns is for Sundowns, Chiefs is for Chiefs, and predictions have been out. You heard it all from the Chiefs side and from the Sundowns side. Only time will tell who was spot on with their prediction, where the game will be won, whether it be by the defense, the middle field, or red cards, or offsides, or handballs, or envelopes, or whatever. It sounds like Thursday's game is going to be crazy. But one thing is for sure is that these teams need to understand that from a fan perspective, the rivalry is still alive and nobody wants to lose to the other. It needs to show on the field. But that is it from us. Thank you guys for joining.
You know what's the unfortunate thing?
Yeah.
The unfortunate thing, and you know, maybe it will work for them because other than the Soweto derby, they are used to play in an empty FNB stadium. The unfortunate thing is that the Yellow Nation will not be singing in the stands.
The same empty
For
stadium
them,
Ahmad
There are
Billard left us
57
for.
of you and you want to talk
They
about
have the best fans.
Other
57 of you and you want to talk about empty stadiums.
Guys, I
You
have
are
a
filling up
genuine
stadiums
No,
for
we
free.
don't.
Fill up stadiums or
We
when you
don't
are
have to
paying for
fill
the
it.
entrance fee, then
Even
we
when
can
we are
talk.
20,
Yeah, but
we
we're
are
playing
focused.
with
We sing
big boys
better than
that
you.
time, Hamza.
Even if we are
We're
20, we
playing
sing
with
better
the
than
big
Even
you.
if we
boys.
are 20, we are
You
focused.
can't sing.
So you
You
guys
only
see,
sing Bobo
you guys is just,
Fulega.
you guys
Bobo
go Fulega
Fulega.
when there's a corner kick. Evuvuzela when there's a corner kick. We go to FNB 217 against 78,000, and then we sing 90 minutes for 90 minutes. You know, we
90 minutes
hear
for
us more than you.
we silence those
Yo.
Kama walikosi
We are enemies.
Look at all the
Murendeni,
Thursday.
you said, Murendeni, you said also last thing, you said you're going to go back to your hotel celebrating. Is that hotel in Marabastad?
Okay.
They felt sorry for us and they gave us something incentive.
Oh, guys, fire, fire, fire from the fans, from the supporters. You heard it. Nobody wants to lose on Thursday. They're all going to be here. We're going to see who was spot on in the prediction on what's going to happen with the game. We're going to see who was right with their prediction. Only 2 days to go. I'm signing out. It's Football Stalkers. You know what to do. You can go on our Facebook page. You can find us on Instagram, on Twitter, on YouTube. Subscribe, turn on the notification, and comment everywhere. It's the Master Tactician Fan signing on. Peace.